Okay, so I got a comment under this video of mine recently, and it's by this gentleman named Deja Vu, and he was saying that he's playing through this game again. He doesn't have a ton of money, and his starter car is the B class S14k, the Sylvia. So, and that's a good car. It's a good car. This S14k for a starter car. But the thing is that now he's getting to a point where he's got a decent amount of power and everything, but it says the problem is I don't know how to tune properly, and it turns out to be kind of bad in the curves. Besides that, my opponents are more powerful than my car, and there is no point in putting the turbine at max because the engine will have a worse performance in a short time later. Do you have any tips? It's equipped with all the best parts available at this time, with the exception of the engine level 3, tranny level 2, and suspension level 4. So I'm going to take a look at that and see if I can give him any tips. And the thing is he might be at a point in the game where it costs more money to continue upgrading this car than to just start over with a Class A car now. He's at the point where maybe he's reached the point where it becomes more cost effective to just start saving up for a new car to get a lot more performance. So we'll take a look at that. See if we can have any advice for him, and we'll take a look. I'm using the Flycast Dreamcast emulator in RetroArch here. Got the widescreen hack on. It's pretty good. It's a little glitchy looking in the replays, but other than that, it's pretty good. And I'll just go ahead and load up the game here. Okay, so this is his car, S14k, although he does not have it maxed out like this. He has only a level 3 engine. He says there's a 4 available, but ooh, it's 24 grand. So does he really want to spend the extra 24 grand? I'm going to go ahead and buy it, but I'm going to equip the 3 that he has. He's on a 6 exhaust. He had another comment later where he told me everything he had. He's on 3... Wait, no, he's on 2 transmission, right? Yeah, because he didn't have 6 speed. His clutch, I believe, was 3. I can always go back to his comment and double check here because I want to set it up exactly like his car. Here we go. So yes, muffler type 6, tranny type 2, 3 is available. I'm not sure if he wants to get it. Clutch and brakes are on 3, suspension's on 3, 4 is available. Okay, so his clutch is on 3. He doesn't have a 4 option. His brakes are on 3. He doesn't have a 4 option. He didn't say what his tires were. I'm going to guess he's on 3 and doesn't have a 4 option on those as well. So we'll set up 3. Suspension, he's on 3. He has the 4 option. He's just not sure if it's worth the money. And transmission, did he say he has a 3rd option? Transmission, where are we at? Where are we at? Up here. 3 is available. Okay. So 3 is available, but if it's for $15,000, should he upgrade? Well, let's go ahead and buy it, but we're going to equip the one he has, type 2. And then we can try on type 3 to see if it's worth the 15 grand upgrade for him. Okay, now we're in body. I believe he said he had 3 for, oops, wrong window there. Here we go. 3 for body. Yeah, 3. And then 4 2 2 4 4 4s. Okay. Two, all 4s. Oops. There we go. Okay, and then for the grills and all that, type 2, normal lights, type 5, wheel, but 6 wheels available. Type 2, normal lights, and then 5, wheel with a 6 available. Okay, that's his car. And then if we go into settings, he has a -5 brake balance, a -4 ride height, is that right? -5, -4 at ride heights, and then spring rates -5, shocks -2 in the rear. Nothing on gears. Spring rate -5. Is that what it was? And -2. Yeah. And then what's his boost on? Boost 1.100. And like you said, there's not much point increasing boost much more than that, because in this game, as you increase the turbo boost, you get overheating and degradation pretty fast. You know, so it's only good for like one race, and you gotta go back to the garage. So you start to get a big trade-off after a while, because if you beat one guy and then the boss comes out, now you're racing two guys, and next thing you know, you're losing your horsepower like crazy. So I get that. Alright, so this car is now set up exactly the same as Deja Vu's. We're saving that, and we're going to go to time attack and do a lap. But before I do that, I'm going to close this. Don't need that open anymore in the background. Alright. Now I'm going to take a wild guess. Oh, also, shift assist off always, because if you leave shift assist on, it will automatically shift for you, but then when you hit a wall or a car or something, it's so sluggish and slow to hurry up and downshift for you again. And you just, it's like, come on, and you just can't get it to hurry up and go. It's beneficial to be able to manually control it, because you can engine brake by downshifting earlier than you normally would to get that little extra torque, you know, to help pull out of a bad power slide or a situation. So I always turn off the shift assist. And then you get better lap times with it off. If you're not used to it off, just get used to it off, because it's much, much, much better. Alright. So this is his car. Let's go ahead and just do a little lap. Yeah, there's a ghost car of my NSX, but don't pay attention to that. That's my fully modified NSX Type S0 pulling away there like a Banshee. Don't worry about that. Alright, I'm trying to get my first impressions here. It's only a 5-speed. He's not sure if he wants to spend the 15 grand to upgrade the transmission to get the 6-speed. That's 15 grand. Is it worth it? Who knows? Oops. Just scrubbing the wall just a little there, but not so bad that I'm really losing a lot of speed off of it. It's okay. I feel like this car is going to be maybe a 4-minute, 20-second lap time. 4:15 at best, something like that. Already just best guesstimate based on how slow it feels at the moment. I'm going to hope for 4:15 or better loop time. Don't hit that wall. God dang it. You really, if you could unlock the level 4 tires, that would be the best upgrade right there. But I'm guessing he doesn't have level 4 tires. He didn't say what tires he has, but I'm just going to guess that he's on level 3, since, you know, based on what he said about the other stuff. The $25,000 engine upgrade to go to the next engine. I don't know, that's a lot of money. Lot of money. Might not be worth it. Probably only shave 5 seconds off your loop time for a whole whopping 25 grand. And then you could just be getting a better car for that kind of investment, you know. If you are planning on just saving up to get a better car instead of upgrading this one, then I would maybe suggest the Supra for around, what, 44 grand? Oh god, that was terrible. Or the R34 Skyline for 55.9. RX-7 is a good choice. The Evo and the Impreza are both good choices, however, and they have really good acceleration with their 4-wheel drive and all that, pretty good top speed and everything, pretty sturdy and stable. They're pretty easy to drive, but they do have a lot of understeer, so I feel like the NSX is still a lot better, but of course it costs twice as much. Oops, I'm gonna hit that wall. Nope. Okay. I wonder if I could do this in 4th gear. Nope. It's Alright. Let's see. I got a lot faster through that section, but that's okay. Not too bad. So what was it? I was aiming for a 4:15 at best. If I can get a 4:15 lap time in this sucker, I think that's doing okay. That's what I would guess. We'll see what we get if I don't screw up this hairpin. This corner coming up is the hardest corner in the game. Oh, I braked too soon. Okay. So I did kind of screw it up. It's a smooth driving car. Whether or not I would change the setup, like you asked about setup, you didn't mention anything about gear ratios. I might, currently you don't need to really mess with the gear ratios because we got 413, okay. I wouldn't say mess with the gear ratios really because you see I was almost topping out at certain points. And this C1 inner loop doesn't even have the really long straightaways. So you don't need to really reduce the final gear. Actually, I don't even think you can unless you buy the stage 3 transmission upgrades, so maybe not. Maybe. I don't remember. Anyways, everything's fine. Maybe I would reduce that brake balance from the -5 to more of a stock setting because the car did feel like it was understeering a little bit. So -5 is only kind of hurting that, not helping that. Maybe a -2. The ride height was okay. No complaints there. Like I say, maybe move final gear down 1 because I don't think we ever really topped out. I don't remember topping out, but it depends. If you're using this car on long straightaways, then leave it alone or even increase. But if you're using it for like just general purpose loops and things and whatnot, then yeah, maybe down 1 or 2 even. Let's try down 2. Spring rate, it might corner a little bit better if we stiffen these springs just a tad. I do feel like it's a stable setup. Didn't feel unstable, so I'm hesitant to mess with your setup that much. But just a tad stiffer springs and a little bit less front brake bias, I think might help with some of that understeering a little bit. But what do we get? 413. So the real question would be how much can you improve it with settings like in there? Like I said, there's not much you can do. Like I said, maybe get a little less understeer by doing this, and then maybe get a little more acceleration, you know, doing this down 2, and then maybe pop springs up 1 so that it's got a little bit more of a bite on some of the slower speed corners, like that final hairpin, you know, it felt like it was really struggling to kind of bite. Turbo boost, like again, you can't push it because then your car is going to be useless after 1 or 2 races, unless that's the plan. You know, if you only got to beat 1 guy, just crank it, beat the 1 guy, come back to the garage. But you might even want to lower it if you're going to race for a while. You might want to put it somewhere in the middle, like down here, you know. If you're going to be out and do like 3 to 4 races, you want it more in the middle down here somewhere. 975 or something maybe. So, but anyways, if you need your car to be better, I wonder what upgrading it could do. So that's why I bought those parts. So like, for instance, you said your engine's a Type 3. You could get a Type 4, but it's 25 grand. How much better would it even make the car? Would it make it that much better? So I bought it so that we could test that theory. So let's test that theory. I just put on the Type 4 engine. Let's go take her for a little test drive. For 25 grand, that's, I mean, you can buy a new car for that. Or halfway to a really good car, you know? So they better make it a lot better. You know what I mean? Because if it doesn't make it way better, you might as well just save up for a better car at that point. Okay, yeah, having the brake balance shifted, what did I put on, -2 instead of -4, or whatever it was. I think it was -5, I can't remember anymore. I don't know. I put the brake balance more to the middle, and it's helping with some of that understeer issue, I believe. Yeah, because the car, ooh, it's tight now. Ooh, look at how tight that is. I thought I was going to slide out towards the wall, but I could have gone a lot faster through that corner. Yeah, so moving the brake balance more towards stock, not so much, you know, towards the front, moving it. What did I have? I think I have it at -2. That's a big help. Tightening up the springs by 1 tick is good, I think, because that gave me the bite I needed there. And then I think having the final gear ratio down 2 ticks gives the car a little more pep in its step. You know what I mean? Oops, I misjudged that, but I didn't really lose any speed there. It looked ugly, but I didn't really lose any time on that, so I'm okay there. Having the engine upgrade, though, is it $25,000 better? I don't know. I mean, the car obviously is way more lively, but let's find out when we get to the lap time. Yeah, I'm topping out at 151 here, but last time before the engine upgrade, I wasn't topping it out anywhere. Well, I never got towards the top. Well, since I'm topping it out like this, maybe I shouldn't have moved the final drive 2 ticks down. I should have left it alone. But I forgot I was going to be upgrading the engine. We'll just see what happens here. Oh god, that was a bad line. I did that last time. I'm used to trying to take the NSX line there. NSX line is very different. Alright, we got a little more horsepower coming up to this turn this time, so maybe let's see if that braking distance is good there. Oh god! I slowed down way too much. It looked stylish, but it was slow as hell because I slowed down way too much. But at least, you know, you got that kind of bite, the ability to control it like that now. Because it has a little more torque, you know, from the engine upgrade. And those settings help a little too. But I've ruined the lap time so much now by slowing down way too much there, that now I'm worried what kind of time I could have got if I would have got that corner nice and smooth. I have a feeling I'm probably just going to get like a... Oh god, nope, now I ruined it. I'm going to get like a 4:09 at best, 4:10 lap time. Because I hit that wall, and that's a very bad spot to hit a wall because all this straightaway here. If I hit this wall up here, I'm really screwed. Honestly, don't hit this wall, don't hit this wall, thank you. One more corner to go. Maybe I don't slow down too much this time. Let's find out. 4, 3, 2. Ah, damn it. I always slow down too much in this car for some reason. You know what it is because I'm just so used to driving that NSX. That's the problem. I've been driving that NSX all week long. Oh, I forgot that corner. I'm not going to get my 4:09, 4:10 now. It's going to be pretty much the same time as I got before the engine upgrade because of those mistakes I made. But honestly, if I didn't make all those stupid mistakes, I think I would have got about a 4:09 right there. Like, I drive enough in this game to be able to tell you without having to waste time doing it. I can tell you, I would have got a 4:09. I made 8 seconds worth of mistakes there. I don't think it's worth the 25 grand for that engine upgrade. The car feels better. You wouldn't know by my crappy driving that time around. But anyways, the car feels better. But $25,000? No, I wouldn't do it. I don't think I would do that. I think I would save your money and upgrade something else. What about transmission? You also said that your transmission was a Type 2, but 3 was available. How much improvement would that make? So I put your engine back on your stage 3 instead of 4, but now transmission has gone up to stage 3 instead of 2. And if you got extra gears, should I mess with this? Well, now you got less horsepower again, so I'm gonna... Oh god, I don't know where to put it. You got extra gear there to get through. I'm gonna move it down even lower. Let's just see what happens there. This is a test with an upgraded transmission. So now you have a 6-speed close ratio transmission. Let's see how much help that gives us compared to the $25,000 engine upgrade. Because the transmission upgrade is only $15,000, which is a lot easier to justify spending if it's about the same leap in performance. If I can get something like a 209 or a 210 lap time. Or I keep saying 2, you know what I mean, a 409 or a 410. I think last time I was saying it wrong too, but you know what I mean. Not the prettiest turn, but we made it. I feel like I could have gone with a closer final gear. Oh no, I did that wrong. God damn it, used to the NSX style. With the NSX, if you just barely tap the brake and downshift, you pretty much make the corner. Unless it's one of those long hairpins, you know. Have to do a lot of counter steering in the NSX and a lot of drifting. Oh, gotta be careful to balance myself here before this part. Yep. Is this a 4th gear? Am I gonna hit the wall? A little bit. Not too bad. Not as bad as last time. Oh! Started steering too early there, almost hit the wall. Doing better than last time with the engine upgrade. This transmission upgrade is actually pretty good. Dang it, I never get that right. It would take me like another 4 or 5 tries to figure out what the S14k likes to do to get through that nice and smooth. Every car has its own little flavor to it, you know what I mean? And you have to learn how to drive them right. And I haven't got the wheel time behind the S14k to know. Oops, screwed this up a little, too slow. Could have swung it in there better. At least I didn't touch any walls. That was pretty good there, but it could have gone faster, but it was alright. This is actually really important not to screw this part up. The second divider will come up right here, because this is a long straightaway right afterwards. Got it. If you touch that wall on the left, it really hurts your speed here on this straightaway. What time are we going for? 409, I think? Something like that. There we go. That's how you make that hairpin. Dude, I'd get the transmission upgrade if you're going to upgrade anything. Not only is it 10,000 less than the engine upgrade, you get 6 gears, so you don't have to worry about topping out so soon. But it feels good. I don't know. It's like just what the car needed, you know what I mean? To feel proper. It's what it was missing, is that next stage up transmission. And I got 409. Well, 410 because I touched the brake at the very end. I didn't mean to. I don't know why. In the NSX, you might have to touch the brake because you're going so fast there. So it's a habit, a bad habit. But it would have been a 409. You know what I mean? I just touched the brake like an idiot. So yeah, I think... Here's what I think. Take your brake balance from -5 down to like -2. So that it doesn't understeer so bad. Take your, leave your ride height where it is, -4, it's fine. Your gear ratio, just take your final gear ratio, your final, like 2 ticks to the left to get a little more acceleration there. Get your, spring rate hardened by 1 apiece. So instead of like -5 or whatever, -4, you know, whatever. Can't remember. Oh, it was yeah, it was -5. So put them up to -4, I guess. You could even go a little higher. You could probably do stock springs, but I don't know. I like the smooth handling, so I think it doesn't need much adjustment. That brake balance is probably the most important thing because it was understeering too much. And then your boost, like you said, you already know what you got going on with that. You can't really crank it up more than that, or you're not gonna have the endurance. If you're gonna buy any parts for this car, if the tires, if you can get stage 4 tires unlocked, of course you buy those. They don't even cost a lot. But if you don't have stage 4 tires available to purchase, with what you have available to purchase right now, the only upgrade that really makes sense would be the transmission for 15,000. Now, that doesn't mean you need to do that. You could save that 15,000 because all I did was shave a 414 or whatever the lap time was, something like that, right? 414. I shaved it 413, I think. Shaved it down to a 410. Basically, it would have been a 409. So 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's a 4-second improvement on a loop, basically. Is it worth 15 grand for that? I don't know. You tell me. That's up to you. But if you're going to buy a part, I would say don't even bother with the engine. I would just, because it's cost too much. 25 grand's too much for such a little gain. I would get the transmission. And then the next thing I would do after that point is just wait until you unlock the next body up, which helps you to lose a lot of weight, I believe, if it's the one I'm thinking, where you can lose like freaking 200 pounds. That's a very good one to purchase, but I think it costs like 20 grand or 25 grand, so it is too expensive still, but whatever. By that point you might have a lot of money. And then of course the tire upgrade, and then that's about it. You could get more than that, but you don't really need to start spending all your money on this car. Eventually you are going to probably want to get a Class A with your extra money. Question is which one. I think a sound investment for your first A-Class car is maybe an R34, an RX-7. If you don't have quite that much, you can get the Supra. It's about 40 grand. That's a very good investment. But you don't have to get those cars either. Get whatever you want, but you probably will need to switch to an A-Class car if you're looking for big performance increases, because this S14, even with max parts, if you maxed everything out and had all the parts unlocked in the game and spent all that money maxing this car out, this is still only a 4-minute car, meaning it'll do this loop, this time attack mode right here, in 4 minutes, you know, even completely maxed out. Whereas the A-Class cars, they do this loop in about 3.5 minutes. So this car has a limit to its max potential compared to Class A cars. So that, you know what I mean. It's still cool to use Class B cars because there are certain rivals and wanderers that will only challenge Class B cars. Also, what else? The freaking just enjoyment of the game. You don't always have to drive the best car. It's kind of cool sometimes just to really enjoy every car, you know, and have fun playing. But if you're low on cash and you just want something better, This car, I wouldn't buy anything other than the transmission, and if 15 grand's too much to justify, then I would literally just start saving up for your next Class A car. Because any other Class B car, it's going to be worse until you start upgrading. You know what I mean? You're going to sink money into it, you know? So you'd have to go Class A. And out of Class A, the Mitsubishi Evos and the Subaru Imprezas have great acceleration and stability and respectable top speed, but they understeer really bad. So that's that. R34 Skyline has really cool cornering, good acceleration and top speed, really stable, really fun to drive. It's a little heavy. It's not the zippiest. It's okay though. It's pretty dang amazing. The RX-7, very fun, very good cornering, but it just doesn't have like a crazy amount of power. The Supra, not quite as fun to drive as the RX-7, but close. More fun to drive than the Evos and the Imprezas, that's for sure. Supra is pretty lively. It doesn't have a big understeering problem. It's pretty lively, but it's a little heavier than the RX-7, and it doesn't have the four-wheel drive that the Skyline has. So it's a respectable choice. It's 40 grand. It's the car I usually get. I usually start this game out with the old B-Class RX-7. You know, the old RX-7. And then the next car sometimes I'll get the S14. And then the next car I get usually is the Supra or an RX-7. And then after that, I usually get a Skyline R34 or an NSX. Eventually, I always only ever really use the NSX towards the end of the game. Sometimes the Viper, if I'm really worried about like very difficult bosses, because the NSX, in my opinion, is the best car in the game, other than the Double Z car that you unlock at the end, but that car is stupid anyways. It's just silly. And it's not even fun to drive, I don't think. The Double Z car has stupid acceleration, but the cornering feels weird. Yeah, straightaways are different. If you're just talking about long straightaways, then yeah, you get whatever has the best top speed, something like a Viper, you know. You can beat the whole game that way, really, with just having a car that has good top speed. A lot of cars in the game have good top speed if you just set them that way in the gear ratios, and then even if you're facing some really unbeatable boss, eventually you might be able to pass them based on top speed alone, and then you just gotta hold on until you beat them. So that's another method, if you know what I mean, if you want to try that method. But anyways, that's my thoughts on your car, dude. I hope that was useful. Like I said, I moved brake balance to -2, didn't touch your ride height, brought down your final gear, moved these up to 4, could even move them up more, I don't know, they were fine, didn't mess with your shocks, don't think I need to, didn't mess with that, and yeah, there are some upgrade parts, you know, but out of the upgrade parts available to you, like the wheels you mentioned, you could get a Type 6 wheel. I really don't think it's going to make enough difference to justify the cost necessarily. The engine did not feel like it was justified to me, in my opinion, because it's just too expensive. And it really didn't change very much. It did, there was obviously a little bit of an improvement. It felt better, but the lap time didn't get a lot better, that's for sure. Whereas the transmission, $10,000 cheaper than an engine, and it's just as good. And actually more satisfying of an upgrade to have 6-speed and be able to play more with the acceleration values and stuff. So I would only buy the transmission if you buy anything, but also be considering getting a new Class A car. Thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for the interest. I know nobody really is interested in old Tokyo Xtreme Racer stuff, but man, I love it. To me, this is like one of my favorite games that I could just always go back and play. Never gets old. I love this game.